And we're good. All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is George Damaso. I'm a sophomore at Iona. I'm a finance major. And no, this is actually what you have to say. I'm not just playing around. If you came to the other meetings, you would know. But no, it's all good. I'm a IS minor, and I'm from Orlando, Florida, so I don't really know too much about New York, but I know enough. And then my co-host is Ryan Kostelnik.
That's me, Ryan. I am also a sophomore, business major. Yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
All right. So we're gonna hop right into this. First things first is this is a entertainment show. I mean that's kind of obvious, but like we're gonna be talking about tech today. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next Friday, we're hopefully gonna be talking about the Joker, the movie, especially with spoilers. So spoiler alert. So the first thing we're gonna be talking about is the Apple iPhone 11. I'm gonna move this mic a little bit. I need to get comfortable. Ooh. Oh, I can get really comfortable. Oh, shit. I hit myself in the face with it. Oh, still hitting it. All right. So, all right, iPhone 11. It's got a lot of cameras. It's got too many cameras, actually.
Too many cameras.
No, it's got 3 cameras.
I know, too many.
Oh, too many. Yes. Yeah, it's got 3 cameras.
You want no cameras?
I want no cameras. I don't want the NSA to see me. So yeah, it's got 3 cameras. It's a terrible design. I have actually played with the phone, and the cameras look great. Like I'll admit, like not on the phone, but using the cameras, they look amazing. Like
So-
I was very impressed.
From a tech perspective, what is the point of having 3 cameras?
So I know that one of them is for a wider angle lens. The other one's for
So they're each their own thing.
yeah. Well, one of them is a regular camera. It's just like the
Mhm.
typical one that you have on any iPhone, like a little that. But then you have the wider angle lens, which is just a fisheye, and then you have the not optical zoom, the physical. The camera actually moves within the housing. It's all right. I just wish that they easily could have made one of the lenses wider and regular. Like they didn't have to make 2 separate lenses for that. So I don't really
I
understand.
know one of the models, it might be the smaller one, not the Plus, has 2 cameras.
Yeah.
Not 3.
And if I were to get it, which I'm not, because I'm going to go Android because I don't like Apple. But we're not. But hey, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the iPhone right now. So yeah, I would. If I were to get it, I'd get the 2 cameras. I just don't understand. Like I understand how you might need that. If you're a photographer, but it's just like a regular person, a regular old Joe, just walking around the street. I don't think you need a telephoto. Now that word's gonna mess me up for the rest of the show. You don't need a wide angle lens, basically. Yeah, because you can just go to wish.com and get one of those fisheye. Yeah,
it goes right over.
I kind of like those.
Clip it onto your phone.
Yeah, and you can use it on
like
any phone.
$2.
Yeah, not even. I'm pretty sure it was like 50 cents. But all right, and then so I also that's a huge problem. The iPhone 11. I honestly think that this whole design choice that they're going with right now is going to mess them up big time. I feel like no one's going to be buying the new triple camera iPhone.
I feel like no matter what Apple puts out, people are going to buy it.
It's sad to say, but you're right. So I don't really like. I'm Apple just has that customer base that they'll so loyal to buy anything. It's just really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they could release really bad products.
I mean, who do you know nowadays that doesn't have an iPhone? I probably know like 2 people.
It's gonna be me in a year. I don't want this anymore. I don't need this.
So what's your decision making process behind Android?
So my buyer decision making process is well, first I realized I had a need. I recognized a need.
Shout out to Professor Hammerman.
Yeah, shout out to Professor Hammerman. No, I've been using iPhone for so long, and I really should continue to use iPhone just because it has synergy. Shout out to Professor Kang.
I don't want those green messages when I text you. That's my decision making process.
You want to get me mad? You want to get me real mad? I don't understand why people care. Why do people care? It's
Well,
green.
you're colorblind, so it's not really as big a deal to you.
But like that should
just
not be a problem.
Aesthetically,
Aesthetically,
I want the
don't hit
blue.
me with that.
I
Don't
want
hit
the
me with that.
blue.
Just I will jailbreak your phone and make my green messages blue. Would that make you happy?
That would actually make me very happy.
Oh, that make
yes.
you really happy? Oh shucks. Okay, I guess I'm jailbreaking your phone then. Don't jailbreak phones. It's illegal.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. That was just a joke. I'm serious. So, and then, so iPhone's got a lot of problems. I think the problems are internal, because obviously they have the customer base to sell to, so they can sell anything. But I think internally, their CEO Tim Cook, who took over after Steve Jobs, he is. Now I have it right here. Let me just pull it up. He is the business executive and the industrial engineer. So basically, he does the same thing that Steve Jobs does. He's the conceptual. What was the word? Conceptual manager. He basically makes up all the ideas for the team. So he helped develop the Apple Watch with Steve Jobs. He also, I think he was the proprietor. Like he made the idea for AirPods, which was really good at selling. But I think he's going a little too far with the cameras on the back. Because like if they wanted to make a phone for people that are photographers, why don't, like, instead of putting 3 cameras, they could have just make the phone a little bigger and put a better camera, just one better camera.
Not even like the phone's pretty big. I feel like if you're making a phone just for photographers, you can move some stuff around internally and just make a camera phone.
Yeah. Or just make a camera. Just make a camera.
Apple doesn't sell a camera. They sell everything else.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That sounds really interesting. Why don't, like, if they're so interested in photographers, why don't they just make a camera for photographers? They probably could do a really good job at it.
Everything. They're making credit cards. They're making everything. So
credit cards. Now that's where they're gonna get you. That's where they're gonna mess you up. That's how you get stuck with Apple.
Off the Apple Wallet, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. The
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay. Just places you can't use Apple Pay. They're making a card for it.
That's weird. It's interesting. It's definitely something new.
Mm-hmm.
I just I'd never trust a big company like that with all my information. But at the same time, I trust a bank with all my information, and that's a big company. So it's really, it's a conundrum. I'm a little hypocrite about it, but I don't know. Apple.
Well, I feel like Apple's priority isn't your money. It's like a bank's. That's the whole thing. Like.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, helping my point. Thank you so much. So yeah, no, Apple definitely doesn't have your money in the foresight of the company. So when they're developing products, and let's say their quote unquote bank feature gets hacked, what are they going to do about it? Nothing. You're going to lose all your information for sure. I don't know. I don't like it.
All right, back to your decision to go Android. Explain that.
Oh, my decision to go Android.
I'm a little lost.
You're lost. Okay.
Fan of the iPhone.
All right. Let me start with step one. Step one.
Simple.
So I grabbed an iPhone. So mind you, before I had this, I had 2 Androids. So the only reason I went this is because I dropped one of my Androids in a lake. I didn't drop it. I was on a canoe. The canoe it's a longer story than it needs to be. I just fell off a canoe and the phone ended up in a river, like a deep river. It was like all right, we won't worry about that. But the phone got ruined, and the only phone available at the airport where I was flying out of was a iPhone 7. It was airport in Plattsburgh, and I'm pretty sure that Apple store's closed now. They had like no stock, no people there at all. So this is the only thing they had available other than like a really bad Android that I knew about. And I was like, I'm willing to suffer Apple just so I don't have to experience that bad Android. But I've had this phone for 3 years now. It works really well. I'll admit I love the 7. Like if I had to pick my favorite iPhone, this iPhone 7 is my favorite. I mean the iPhone 8's also great, but I don't like the glass on the back because that'll crack.
Yeah, but you have some added benefits with that. You have the wireless charging.
Yeah,
you have the water resistance.
No, I got water resistance.
Really?
Yeah. I'm the other day I put my phone in the sink. We're not gonna worry about that. But Yeah, no, I have water resistance. That's why I like this one so much. Oh, I'm gonna knock everything off the table. Just put it there. So yeah, back to the buyer decision process. So basically, the iPhone 7 is the best iPhone in my eyes. And then everything after that is not so good. It's definitely functional, but I don't like it as much. If I were to go back to Android, which I probably will, I would definitely go with a phone that definitely has wireless charging because I miss wireless charging a lot. The only problem is that yeah, you can't have a metal back with wireless charging. The frequencies, the interference doesn't go through, or it interferes with the wireless charging. So you'd have to have a glass back or a plastic back. Plastic backed phones are not made anymore.
Yeah,
that's dead.
Well, when you're paying $700 to $1,000 for a phone, you're not going to want a plastic back. You're going to want something, sleek, and
but
quality looking at least.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm you know this. I'm a huge cheapskate. So I'll buy not 50. I'll buy a $100, $200 phone with a plastic back that works exactly the same. Because like I don't really care about the like Apple selling points, expensive materials and industrial design. I'm like, I don't care. Like just give me a phone. Like I'm gonna use it for the internet and texting people and maybe calling. Like that's it. So I'm it's not that big a deal. But so there's no more plastic bag phones. So I'm gonna end up going with something like a Google Pixel. But actually, I kind of like the Google Pixels. The Google Pixels. I kind of because that's the last phone I had when I fell in the lake. I had a Google Pixel. I had the one, which was really nice, but had flaws. Had a lot of flaws. So and also I like to tinker with my objects. Like I have Microsoft Computer because I can do whatever I want to the computer. I could download any program. I can mess with the OS. You can't do that on Apple. I mean, I know that the people that they sell to on Apple are people that typically don't want to, fudge around with their phone. Like last year, I bricked a phone by accident. I was messing with my Android and it just completely bricked it. I think I accidentally deleted my charging drivers, which doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't be able to get that deep, but I did. And that was just me messing around. And the brick, it wasn't last year. It was like 4 years ago, I guess. I bricked it, so I had to reinstall the OS and everything. It was funny, but it also sucked because my phone was out of commission for like 3 days. But yeah, no, that definitely makes sense why people would go Apple instead because you can't brick your phone on your own. It can brick, but that's the phone doing its own thing. You can't brick it, which is nice. But back to the topic at hand, we're talking about the iPhone 11. I see a real lack of ambition when it comes to Apple right about now. I just don't think they want to change. Like previously with Steve Jobs, they did a lot of revolutionary things. Whether it be like taking all the components of the phone and slimming the phone down, or adding a camera, a really quality camera on the back, which just makes sense. Quality camera on the front. They were the first to put cameras on the front, I'm pretty sure.
Front-facing camera.
Yeah,
that technology.
And then shout out to Snapchat who capitalized on that. But no, they really they revolutionized the market. But at this point, I don't think there's any change.
Yeah, I feel like they've really plateaued with their products right now.
Yeah.
I know the Apple Watch is not selling very well at this time. They're just keep adding new features. They're not really. I don't know. I just feel like the Apple Watch to people to keep adding new features really isn't going to do it. If you don't want to buy it, you're not going to buy it.
Yeah, and one of our friends, I think it was Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. He came up to the point that if Apple Watches were to just was it? No, maybe it wasn't. But if Apple Watches were just to remove the heartbeat sensor and just sell the watch itself, and reduce the price, I would be more likely to buy one. I don't want any Apple products, but if they were to make the price cheaper, I might buy one because I like the concept. I used to have an Android smartwatch. It just doesn't pair with an iPhone, so I sold it. But it's just flawed. Like they add so many features and they don't give like a cheaper option. Like with the iPhones, they started giving cheaper options because they realized people like that. They need to start doing it with
like the iPhone C, and
that
was the last plastic back phone I think they made.
Yeah, I think they should do it again. But that's just me. Oh, and another note. Oh, I just peeked the mic. Oopsies.
Alright.
Now
the time too. We're getting.
Oh, we're getting close. Oh no. No, we could just cut it.
All right. But
I was gonna say on another note, so we just did a paper on Xerox. So the Xerox case is basically that company was run by a bunch of engineers who are closed-minded, focused on the product rather than the market. And I feel like that's what's going on with Apple. I think there's too focused on the product.
I mean, that kind of brings it to the point of the ecosystem with Apple. It's really difficult to pair with outside devices and vice versa. Like I know you have a Windows computer and you can't pair your AirPods to it. Same thing.
Yeah.
If you have all Apple devices, like I have, the ecosystem is really, really good and it works very well. But they're just not inability, but they don't have the willingness to branch out in that respect.
Yeah, and you can pair Apple AirPods with a Microsoft computer. It just takes longer period of time,
Mhm.
and it's not worth it. It's not. But I mean, if that's all you got, that's all you got. So yeah, the company's definitely just run by a bunch of engineers. They do have a really good marketing team. They sell the product like crazy. I've never gone like a whole day without seeing an Apple ad, like whether it be on Snapchat or Instagram or anywhere else. I always see an Apple ad somewhere.
And they're arguably the most recognizable brand in the world right now. It's not like they need to put all that money into marketing, but
yeah, it's funny though, because at the time when Xerox failed, they were the most recognizable brand. Like if
it was
Yeah.
just the terminology. Xerox is for me.
Yeah. And like everyone knew what Xerox is. People actually, I mean, not anymore, but people did say, "Can you Xerox this for me?" When Xerox wasn't even around anymore.
Just referring to a copy.
Yeah.
They coined the term basically.
And so same thing with the iPhone. Like if you're talking about a phone, you'd be like, "Hey, can I use your iPhone? Can I use your?" I mean, it's not always. Usually people just say phone, but whenever people talk about the App Store, they talk about the Apple App Store, which is interesting because there's the Google Play Store is Google Play, but they still call it the App Store. So they coined that for sure. Yeah, so I think there's just an overall note in the phone market that there's stagnation. Like phones are not changing, with the exception of Samsung's foldable phone. That is really crazy. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, they took they took two phones and basically connected the screens and folded it, and then on one side of the phone, like after it's folded, they had a exterior screen, so you could close it and still look at the screen. But when open, it's like I think it was 5 inches by. No, it's larger. I think it's 8 by 5 inches. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, no, that's really cool. Oh, but yeah, I don't know. But then again, like the whole idea is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if the phone market's still selling, they're still selling for the same types of phone, just keep it. Got anything to add to that, Ryan?
No, I don't know. I agree. I agree. The market's in stagnation right now. There's small changes to the phone game, but really nothing big. Like since the iPhone came out.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up. We're running out of time too. We talked a little long. So thank you all for listening. And we will talk to you guys maybe Friday. Hopefully. All right. You all take it easy. Goodbye.